When the going gets difficult, you're doing an excellent job. This is a well-known remark that has influenced players on the ground for years. Because the writer was high, he was oblivious to the rigors of today's sports. So, how do you determine whether or not a sport is difficult? Though there are various factors to analyze the popularity of any activity, there is no source of measurement to evaluate the endurance and physical strength required for a sport. In this video, we will talk about the top 10 toughest sports to play in the world. Let's get started. Number 10. Boxing. Do you have any reservations about declining the statement? As you can see, we did extensive study before listing these games. And boxing is unquestionably one of the most difficult and popular sports in the world. It may be simple to simply strike your opponent in the face and smash his teeth, but you are approaching the situation incorrectly. According to a poll, boxing is not a simple sport. It necessitates physical power, but it also necessitates the scientific use of that strength. If we're talking about a celebrity, who hasn't heard of Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali? Two of these names are on the list of the world's most well-known athletes. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, Mike added. Number 9. MMA fighting, mixed martial arts. You've probably seen a lot of Hollywood movies about MMA fighters. In general, everyone in American countries is familiar with martial arts. Hence, MMA, also known as street fighting, is more popular there. This is a fighting style that incorporates elements of martial arts, boxing, wrestling, and a few other disciplines. It's a form of freestyle fighting that's regarded as one of the toughest in the world. Wrestling is comparable to MMA, yet is incorrect. Wrestling is where MMA got its start. To win on the ground, MMA fighters must not just have stamina and strength, but also flexibility, speed, and resilience. All of these factors combine to make it the second most difficult sport in the world. Number 8. Rugby. Though all you have to do in this game is place the rugby ball on the marks, it's a lot more difficult than it appears. This is a person-to-person game in which you must put up with powerful opponents and their physical prowess. It is a wonderful mix of knocks and whacks, and it requires a lot of stamina to endure the endurance of the other players. Players must endure a couple of the most difficult stakes in this 80-minute game, where their endurance and mental health will be put to the test. There are no weight divisions in rugby because it is a professional sport. It took a lot of effort and endurance, which is why it is the third most difficult and popular game. Number 7. Gymnastics. This sport may have been featured in previous Olympic Games. It has always been a fixture of the Olympics because it is the only method for many countries to complete their medal collection. Wait, that doesn't imply it's simple to play. This game is the 4th toughest in the world because it does not rely on your physical power. To keep your balance in the air, you don't need a lot of muscle mass. At this point, your mental toughness will be put to the test. To be a professional gymnastic players need regular training from infancy, I believe. Yes, because it is impossible to learn to balance on the poles. To be in this situation, you must be physically fit. Number 6. Ice hockey. You can never understand how much strength and physical power does a hockey player consume on a hockey rink. An hour on steel blades is really exhausting, and shots and quick starts make it even worse. Achieve the highest number of goals along with sharp turns and shot playing make ice hockey the 5th toughest game in the world. We enlist the sport here because it's complicated to understand the concept and high mental health, durability, and stamina. Number 5. Baseball. In baseball, you train the whole body, except for the hips and eyes. We hope you can understand the kind of strength and physical endurance that is required for baseball. This game is more about running and scoring than hitting the ball. The immense crowd in the stadium, people shouting from every direction make it hard to concentrate on the ball, and you end up losing the game. Not only your physical strength, but also your endurance and durability to be tested here. Therefore, this is the 6th hardest game in the world. Also, the game is completely different from the one you have observed in Doraemon, in which Jian hit the ball and blamed Nobita for not to catch properly. Number 4. Football or soccer. The list of the toughest sports in the world can never be complete without describing this game. With the prominence of the most viewed games in the world, football is probably a hard sport. Everybody knows Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, but do you have any idea about their difficulties while playing soccer? It is a strategic game in which a team requires a goalkeeper, hitter, and defender too. Just imagine maintaining all of these things in the right order. Isn't it though? Football is undoubtedly a popular game, but strategies and player strength are what make it the tough game in the world. An average soccer player runs almost 115 kilometers, tackles highly durable shots of an opponent, and undergoes other hurdles, and this is what we call football. Football is one of the favorites and unquestionably one of the top picks of any American sports fan. It's just outside the top 5. Football was always going to be a contender for the top 5. with top scores in physicality and almost top marks in strength. But while some positions require specialized traits, it falls short in other areas. When it came to skill levels, football dropped a few of downs to some of the other finalists, but endurance was the deciding factor. Football will always trail other sports in terms of endurance, no matter how heavy the hitting or how fast the action is. This isn't to argue that football players aren't hard workers. Number 3. Basketball. From muscle power to the technique, everything is important here because one cannot win a match of basketball with its height only. Have you ever noticed that all NBA players touch the sky and play with their full potential? Just like tennis and football, basketball also has enough space where players can regain energy. But due to short court, it is tough these days. Winning a basketball game is all about the energy you put in, speed, and quick reflexes. Everything reflects on your game later. Besides its harshness, basketball is a popular sport in the world. Even with rolling substitutions, moving up and down the court keeps endurance scores high, while the speed and agility required to move around pushes the score even higher. Basketball has a significant advantage over other team sports in terms of talent ranking. Basketball requires dexterity in dribbling and shooting the ball, as well as bursts of power while dunking, blocking, and rebounding. Basketball is comfortably in the top 10, despite its low physicality rating because to the no-contact aspect. Imagine contact basketball. That would be amazing. Number 2. Rowing. Rowing is a sport held on the surface of the water, where athletes propel a boat using oars. Rowing as a sport was developed in 18th century London. There were races between professional watermen on the River Thames. Rowing is divided into 2 types. Sweep, in which each rower uses 2 hands to hold 1 oar, and sculling, in which each rower uses 2 hands to hold 2 oars, 1 in each hand. The boats used are racing boats, sometimes known as shells, and are long, slender, and semicircular in shape. The oars are lengthy, about 250 to 300 centimeters, and feature a flat end known as the blade. You would never believe that this could be the toughest game in the world. By far its popularity, rowing is really tough. Apart from your physical strength, it looks for control and technique with constant leg running and back support, all this somewhere in the middle of a lake. If we talk about physical strength and muscle power, then this sport gets something tough. Long races can increase fatigue levels, which ultimately affects your mental health due to its mental damage. And number 1, swimming. Swimming is a popular activity that may be done independently or as part of a team and involves a variety of strokes. Swimming can be done in a pool or in the open ocean. Swimming in a river versus swimming in the Olympics are 2 very different sports. Swimming is widely regarded as one of the best sports due to its numerous health advantages. To be fit, one must practice constantly, and both the upper and lower bodies must be strong in order to attain one's goal. In comparison to other sports, it necessitates a high level of endurance and toughness. That is all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time.